Na mtazamaji, na moja kwa moja katika taarifa inayotufungia awamu yetu ya kwanza ya habari zetu hii leo jioni, ambapo kamati ya fedha kwenye bunge la kitaifa imeendelea kumpiga msasa Andrew Mukite Musangi aliyeteuliwa na Rais William Samoei Ruto kuwa mwenyekiti wa Benki Kuu ya Kenya. Musangi hata hivyo ametetea uwezo wake wa kuhudumu kwa wadhifa huo kutokana na tajriba yake. Musangi aliteuliwa na rais kutoka kwa orodha ya watu 6 walioratibiwa na tume ya huduma za umma.
We are not in a great place, but we are also not in a crisis. When we look at it, we have to think about what do you adjust quicker. You can adjust the GDP and take it up by creating investor-friendly policies that attract foreign direct investment, by supporting export-oriented businesses in this country, by creating a stable tax environment. All those are fiscal interventions. At the monetary level, it's counterintuitive, but you can increase interest rates, which unfortunately then has a negative effect of making the domestic investment environment very expensive for participants in local business. Somebody who sets up a manufacturing entity budgeting on a finance cost at 12% cannot be expected to confront bank interest at 18% and still have the same business model, Mr. Chairman. It simply does not work because it impacts the first two, debt and our currency stability. Mr. Chairman, we are going to have to tackle this monster called corruption. If we tackle that monster, that money that is being lost to this so-called monster of corruption is more than enough to service our debt. So I think we must be inward looking, not just as a central bank, but as a country. We must be inward looking and say we have it in ourselves to resolve this so-called debt distress. In fact, dealing with that one issue, you can forget about any conversations about debt distress. Kenya has not defaulted on any of its debt obligations with all the stress that it has to date. But we are increasingly finding central bank now has to make sure that when you offer debt instruments, you offer a diversified portfolio. The last one I read about last week, about I think 75% of it was to refinance, and 25% was going towards development projects and other such costs. So when you look at it, the short-term treasury bills are oversubscribed heavily, I think 700%, and the long-term bonds are subscribed at 12 to 14%. So we'll have to find the perfect balance between the tenor of our debt instruments to ensure they remain attractive. But any long-term investor does not just look at the debt. They will come in and want to see what are the fiscal policies underpinning Kenya's ability to ultimately pay its obligations. And that should be fed from government.